Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So it's pretty common for business owners to fall into some type of comparison trap, right? And to feel like they have to beat out their competition in price or in value, right? And that's not untrue, right? That's something we all struggle with. And there was a unique perspective that we were discussing on one of our calls with my marketing mentorship for accountants. And I wanted to bring that into the podcast and kind of elaborate on it. And here's the scenario that we went through with one of the participants. So she was proposing a fractional CFO service to a potential client. She submitted a proposal, a very detailed proposal of here's what we're going to do for you. Here's what we're going to charge. Here's the fees, right? So she ran through all of it with them. Then what happened was the client or prospective client came back to her and said, hey, I received this other proposal from this other provider. Can you review this and tell me why you're different? So there's a couple of things that I immediately thought. One was, well, you know that they probably did the same thing with your proposal. So they're sharing each other's marketing info, which is fine. You know, I think that's an interesting tactic on the part of the prospect to kind of trade the proposals and say, tell me why you're different than this person. And what that does is that actually pours gasoline on the fire of comparison, right? So if you are literally forced to compare yourself to someone else's proposal, she immediately went down the features. She went down the list of things that this other person does. And she went through and said, okay, it's basically the same services. I don't really know how I'm going to differentiate myself. Their price is lower and they have all of the same feature set. So how do I, command that bigger price point? How do I not compete on price? Because it seems to be the only variable that is different between us. And that is where we started the conversation on a different dimension in which you can differentiate yourself. So I believe that in a service like CFO, and this could be anything you're doing in your business. It could be as a coach, as a mentor, as a salesperson, as a marketing advisor, whatever it may be, right? So if you're offering some type of service that leverages your expertise in your business, then this is very relevant to you. And what we talked about was, how do you differentiate yourself using your values? And in reality, this goes for any type of service provider, because fundamentally, you can differentiate yourself on your values. And I don't mean to say value, that is very important, but I'm actually talking about values. So what I had advised her to do, I said, here's what I would do in that situation. If someone said, hey, Shannon, we're looking at hiring a fractional CFO. We looked at your proposal and we looked at somebody else, right? And you're charging a lot more. I say, yep. And they would probably say, well, what's different about you? I would probably lead with something to the effect of, and this isn't literal, I did not write this down, this is not scripted, I'm just on the fly coming up with what I might say. So I'm sure it would be more refined if I spent more time on it. But I wanted to just authentically elaborate on what I might say. So it might include something like, fundamentally, this is a relationship where you need to trust me, right? You're looking for someone you can trust. And based on our conversations, you're looking for, and then I would say, reiterate back to them, this is what you told me you were looking for. Because by the way, we collect this information in the process. So you're looking for someone who's highly communicative. You're looking for someone who will explain things to you. You're looking for someone who will be encouraging and not have any judgment, right? You want someone who's going to communicate at your level, meet you where you're at. And I have zero doubt in my mind that we can accomplish that for you. So as far as the objectives being met, I have no doubt in my mind that we can do that. Now, can we do it better than that person? I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know that person. And I'm not I'm not of the interest to try to tear that person down. or to tell you that they can't do that for you. What I can tell you is that this is what we stand for. This is our ideal client we work with. This is an example of the results that we've gotten for clients in the past. And this is why we believe we're a trustworthy firm to select. I would also lead in with something like your values, where I say, here, let me just demonstrate our core values. And you can see if you align with these. Because I always find that when you can find a deep rooted connection at the level of core value, that is going to be so impactful, because they're going to feel like they met their people, right? We're going to have this we have this sort of like tribe instinct, tribe mentality, where we're attracted to people similar to us, right? And that's just inherent. So create that familiarity and build that relationship by finding those similarities in your values. Now, I'm not saying adapt your values to whatever they have, or finding out what they have for their core values. Now, do your research, but I'm not saying that you have to appease them. I come in fully confident with my 3 core values. And I would say something to the effect of, so we have really 3 core values here at Financial Solutions. One is everything anchors to the client's goals. So if you work with us, guaranteed, you are going to feel like we are always on the pulse of whatever your goals are, because we're not going to throw any cookie cutter strategies at you that don't make sense for you in a holistic sense. We're not in the business of slapping the same strategy on as an assembly line process. We are here to find out what works well for you, what you're looking to accomplish, what your long-term plans are. We want to work with your other professionals, and we want to make sure we're in alignment on that common mission to help serve you. Number 2 is, our value is transformational and not transactional. So if you're looking for a tax preparer who's going to give you a tax return and give you a set of financial statements at the end of the year, through a bookkeeper, if that's all you're looking for, you can get that so much cheaper, and we encourage you to do so. But if you're looking for assistance and advice on being a better business owner, and to up-level yourself and your CEO mindset, if you're looking to up-level the strategy that your business is implementing to make it potentially sellable, or to be able to hire that next new person and to know how much to pay them and when to hire them, that's what we're here for. So we're here for the transformation. We want to help you grow and be there along for the ride to see the journey. And we're not here to simply deliver pieces of paper with numbers on them. Number 3, we are part of the team. So I also phrase this as, we future tense, not past tense. So we like to be in the room. We like to have a seat at the table when the big decisions are being made, and be in the loop along for the ride. We don't like getting emails like, hey, I bought a business. Hey, I sold my shares. Hey, I invested in this huge ad agency and didn't put that in the cash flow forecast or talk to you guys about it, right? So we like future tense, not past tense. We like to plan for the future. We don't like to be a CC on the past. Those are really the 3 things that we need in order to be successful. If you're willing to commit to that, then I know we can soar really far and fast with this business. And I know that we can help you. And if you approach, and I'm sure you just listened to that and you were like, yeah, I want all that stuff, right? Because especially as an accountant, right? I don't see a lot of other accountants approaching it that way. I don't see a lot of other service providers coming in with core values as their differentiator. And if you just listen to what I said in those 3 core values, that's an interesting way to align with a customer, right? Because it's like, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. Or here's the other thing, the contrast. I don't want that. I do just want a tax preparer. And I think Shannon's overcharging, because all I want is a tax return. Okay, cool. Then we've identified a misalignment. We've identified a difference in expectations that could have caused massive harm later, because what would have happened? They would have hired me to quote unquote do a tax return. They're going to pay me $3, $4, $5 a month for that tax return. That's what they think they're getting as a deliverable, is an accurate tax return, right? Which they can get for 1/10 of the price. And what's going to happen is they're going to come to resent me, because they're going to think I charge too much, or they're going to cancel the service because they're not getting quote unquote the same value, or they know they can get it elsewhere. I'm like, you're absolutely correct if you think the value is a tax return. But if you understood the values that we discussed in the initial phase of our relationship, then we've tackled that obstacle. We've tackled that misunderstanding, that misalignment of expectations. So it's an opportunity when you are faced with trying to differentiate yourself. It is a huge opportunity on a sales call or some type of discovery, or even in a follow-up, to lead in with your core values and to make that really known. You can do this at the latest during onboarding and kind of talk to them about what the expectations are in your company, how you prefer to be communicated with, and how that connects to your values as well. So just something to consider. I think differentiating yourself using your values is an effective strategy, not only for the benefit of your customer to better understand you, but I feel like it alleviates so many headaches down the line because you've made it super clear what it is you stand for. And using that instead of comparing is also a very classy move, because if you're willing to speak ill of another professional, it's really not a good look. It doesn't look collaborative. It doesn't look open and have this abundance mindset. I feel like if you're constantly nitpicking or looking for things that you do better than other people, then what it can do is start tearing other people down, and it just doesn't make you look good. So instead of kind of going in with that marketing, I really want to go in with, I want people to be magnetized to me, not repelled from others, right? I don't need you to be repelled from other competitors. I have embraced the idea that there is quote unquote competition. I see them as colleagues and peers that offer the same service. I have many of them on this show because I have zero fear that if you want to hire a fractional CFO and you connect with them better than me, then who am I to stand in your way of finding your CFO soulmate? Who am I to stand in the way of you finding the person you want to work with? I have full confidence that if you want to work with me, that we'll find each other, that it will be okay. And that's what's really important. And that's what I want to also bring to the table with my clients is this energy of, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about anybody else besides me and my client's success, period. And if you can keep that laser focus, and if you can show that you have that laser focus from the get-go in the proposal process, you'll be bulletproof and you won't have to stress out about comparison. I know it's easier said than done, but it's just something that once you really hone in on those values and you can really define them and articulate them with confidence, I think that if you encounter a similar situation to the one that my colleague did, that you'll be able to thrive in that situation and really stand out. I can't believe how many episodes we've released of Keep What You Earn. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in tax savings contained in our episode library. And there are so many topics that we cover. To make it easier to find more of what you need right now, we actually created a custom curated playlist just for you. That's right, a playlist of value-packed episodes that you're looking for based on your goals right now in your business. Whether you're making your first sale, trying to strategize your taxes, or you're scaling your team, there is something here for everyone. Check out the podcast playlist generator now using the link in the show notes and explore your custom playlist. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.